My, what radiant, glossy, and luscious hair you have. It's quite thick. That's an excellent sign. An excellent sign. I take it you've been eating well? Healthy hair is also a strong indicator of good genetics. Looks can be deceiving, so I will need to take a little sample for analysis. If you could just hold still. I just need a few strands. Just a few strands. From the undercoat. Perfect. Right. Now, dear, I just need to have a look at your eyes. If you could just open them for me, very naturally, very relaxed. Open. Perfect. If I could just get you to stare at this candle for just a moment. Just a moment. Just stare at the candle. That's good. That's a good soul. That's a good soul. Just stare at the candle. Just stare at the candle. Okay. Do you notice any dark spots in your field of vision? Excellent. Any itchiness or dryness? Marvelous. Marvelous. Okay, I'm just going to check for any discharge or tearing up. Okay, stare at the candle. Okay. Splendid. Splendid. Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual. Alright, I just need to get a few boondoggles to have a closer look, a full inspection of your eyes. All right. Just blink a few times for me. Okay, just nice and natural. Have a look at me. What a marvel it is. What a marvel it is how much one's eyes reveal about one's health and heritage and one's heart. Yeah, just look into there. Yeah, I'm going to start with this one. Open it wide with amazement. I just need to get a good look at your retina and your iris. Okay. I don't see any floaters in this one. Your eye is healthy. It's a nice healthy color. It's not yellow at all. And all the blood vessels look good too. I see a lot of, what is that? Let me just get a look. Oh, I see a lot of optimism and hope in there too. Let me just make a note of that for the spiritual and character assessment portion of the exam. You do understand that being of sound physical health is only the most basic criterion for becoming a procreator, a progenitor. Excellent, excellent. It's very important that you understand what is required for being selected to help propagate and expand our community, to ensure our commune's perpetuity. It's very important. Now let's have a look at the other eye. The other eye, before we move on to your teeth. Okay, so again, just want you to look in here. Okay, looks good, looks good. In order to become a progenitor as part of the Ascendant Fellowship program, where you are matched with a more experienced, more mature member of the community, we must know that you are sound and altruistic in your motives for choosing to be part of this program. We need to ensure also that you won't have any excessive or inordinate attachment to your offspring. You do understand that your offspring will be raised by the entire community, right? Okay. You do need to enter into this agreement with only the best intentions and hopes so that our community can thrive. This eye looks good too. While you would obviously be the biological parent of the child, okay, the offspring of your community-approved union would be the spiritual responsibility of all members of the community. Okay, just look in there, look in there, look in there. Can you just turn your head slightly so that I can get a look at your eye from this angle? Okay, marvelous. And this one. Science has shown that children thrive when they have the mentorship and guidance of several adults. In fact, our community gives children more attention than they could ever possibly receive from their biological mother alone. Well, your eyes indicate that you're in a superb state of health. Given your age, it's safe to chalk that up mostly to genetics. And that's what counts here, your genetics. We can only have those from the utmost stock replenishing our community. Wouldn't you agree? Excellent, excellent. Two are in agreement. Two are in agreement. Just make a quick note and then onto your teeth. Right. can certainly tell us a lot about genetics. Can you just open as wide as you can for me? Just open as wide as you can. Good teeth are, open as wide as you can, most certainly a sign of good character. Okay, wider. I need to be able to get in there. Ooh, quite opalescent. Someone is very fastidious about looking after their ivories. Okay. Yes. All right. My first impression is that you come from robust stock, from a very affable house, right? Do you know if you come from nobility by chance? Just need my light. Well, to see some evidence of that fact. We shall know for certain in just a second. Open your mouth a little wider for me. A little wider. Okay, first what I'm looking for, mostly what I'm looking for is a talon cusp. Only about 5% of the population have talon cusp teeth. Talon cusp. Open a little wider. Okay. Talon cusp. Right. Right, talon cusp. Goodness to heaven. I had a sneaking suspicion I would find you back there. Well, let me just have another. Why is a talon cusp so important? Well, because a talon cusp is a sure sign that you've inherited your genetic material, at least some of it, some of your genetic material from a Native American group, from Native American stock. Just to be sure. That's excellent. I'm almost tempted to give you an automatic recommendation as a procreation candidate, just based on that finding. If you are descended from a Native American tribe, there's a strong chance that communalism and harmony with nature are in your blood. If there's anything we can do to combat the ills of industrialization, it's to ensure that those with communalism in their blood continue our community, pass their genes on in our community. Let me just make a few notes for your application. Just a moment. On the upper jaw, positions 14 and 15. All right. I'm pleased to report that you have passed your health and genetics examination with ribbons and badges galore. But as I mentioned, a progenitor must also be of sturdy spiritual composition and impeccable, unimpeachable, unassailable character. Thus, I have just 3 questions that should give the committee all the insight that they need to adequately assess your spiritual character. Are you ready? Question number 1. Do you accept that you're a flawed human being, a child of God, who nonetheless strives to improve yourself with each and every passing day for the benefit of not only yourself, but for that of the community as well, and for the kingdom of heaven in union with God, for purposes of holiness and sanctification? We would expect nothing less in the pursuit of perfectionism and Bible Communism, espoused by our founder, Mr. Noyes. Question number 2. Do you consider yourself to be diligent, hardworking, industrious, resourceful, assiduous, conscientious, pertinacious, persevering, and energetic? We wouldn't consider you as a candidate for a single moment if you weren't. The road to heaven is paved with hard work. Now finally, would you judge yourself to be a positive contributor to the well-being of our commune? In other words, how many table settings of silverware have you personally produced, without the aid of any others, during your tenure here, and along with the Ascendant Fellowship? Would you say 10 to 20 table settings of silverware, 20 to 49 table settings of silverware, or more than 50 table settings of silverware? Now that's quite an exceptional number. I've never in all my years at Oneida encountered one who claimed to have produced so many table settings of silverware single-handedly. Hint, hint, hint. And I truly was rooting for you. Why don't I give you a moment to reconsider your response, keeping in mind that we here at Oneida consider all property to be communal, including our labors and our achievements. That sounds much more humble and Oneida. Much more Oneidan of you. Now, how many table settings of silverware would you say you played a collaborative role in producing? Yes, That is a wonderfully industrious number, which indicates that you work well as part of a team. A wonderfully industrious number. That indicates you work well as part of a team. Well done. That's all the questions I have. If you don't have any questions for me, then the last thing for us to do is for me to briefly explain how the child rearing process will be conducted once the child is conceived and brought into our Ascendant Fellowship. Now, all of what I'm about to tell you, what I'm going to explain, is hypothetical, of course, since you have not been officially approved by the Procreation Committee. Not yet. However, if you are approved to make a genetic contribution to our community, this is how the rearing of your offspring will be conducted. And we can't proceed unless we are in agreement. For the first 15 months of the tender, precious child's life, the babe will be nursed, nurtured, and cared for by the mother, as is fitting and necessary for the proper development of the child. Once the child has been weaned, they will take up residence in the children's house among all the other Oneida children, where the child will be given ample opportunities for exercise, education, for the betterment of his or her mind and soul. Their education and care from that point forward will be the responsibility of all community members, who must work along with yourself to remain committed to the commune's values of non-attachment, number one, equal loving, and equal sharing. Do you agree to abide by not only the rules of complex marriage, but also the core Oneidan value of non-attachment in the communal rearing of children? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We need community members like you who are setting a supreme example of communal living for what is a very lost and damaged world outside these walls. So then, from all of us on the Procreation Committee, I just would like to thank you for your generous service to our community and for volunteering yourself for our 𝔘𝐴 project, for the continuance and the endurance of this very harmonious and utopian community that we've worked so hard to build. And I would like to thank you for your service by gifting you with this silver spoon crafted by none other than our founder and master craftsman and very prodigious contributor of genetic material, John Humphrey Noyes. But since, as you know, that private property violates our fundamental precept of communalism, I will instead gift this to the entire Oneida community, to our collective of Bible communists and perfectionists. Sound nice? Excellent. And before you return to your workshop, let me give you something else. This is a list of all other community members who have already been approved for participating in our Procreation project. Since the doctrine of free love dictates that all sexual relations must be entered into consensually, you will need to submit to the committee a list of co-Oneidans with whom you would be willing to intercourse with. Sound good? Marvelous. Now, best of luck. And the winner will be announced at the Criticism and Curing session in a fortnight, at which time you will have the opportunity to assess the services I've humbly offered to you this evening. Until then, good night, and may the Spirit always be with you.